Yesterday morning after my last video, I recorded another video because I just got off the news. I'd read the news after, and there was another murder related to the organized crime factions that I was close to at some point. I recognized the name, didn't know who he was though. I heard about him because he'd been arrested a few years ago. The reason why I'm bringing your attention to this is because this guy's profile, I was thinking about it all day yesterday, and I was thinking for a long time I still am, and many people do, what's the real issue behind primary psychopathy. And this one bitch on Quora keeps claiming that it's lack of fear. I didn't want to believe that, really, because it sounded arrogant, narcissistic. I mean, I have a low fear response, but I don't lack fear, and I wouldn't exactly claim that my personality is based on that. Not at all. But got me thinking yesterday, because the guy's career, I mean, he got murdered. He was about to be sentenced, just to let you know. He got taken in by the psychopaths. It's the way most psychopaths end up dying. They get involved with other psychopaths, and one turns on the other one. Obviously, it's not even turning on the other one because they never bonded to begin with, right? So when psychopaths go into business together in organized crime, there's no trust from day one. So as soon as something goes wrong, or even if something goes right, there's motivation to eliminate the other one. The most common scenario is two people go in for a drug deal, and when the drugs come in, one kills the other one, and now he has all the drugs. Simple as that. So instead of making $1 million, he makes $2 million, and these people are willing to kill for that. Another common thing is people have committed crimes together, and one, like yesterday, he's getting sentenced to prison where he's going to be independent. They won't be able to control him. They won't be able to ensure that he's not going to talk about crimes that he knows about. So they kill him. From the past, 6-7 years that I've been following all this stuff, I can tell you that if you get into organized crime, the chance of you getting killed by an enemy, quote unquote, an opposing faction, another gang, maybe 1 out of 10. The other 9 out of 10 is your own gang, your own associates, your best friends, quote unquote, because there are no friends in that world. And that's exactly what my ex-girlfriend was doing with me. She was dating me, building me up for a big fall. That's the basic game. A lot of these gangs are pyramid schemes of violence. Simple as that. It starts off with a leader, a couple of guys under him. They start getting people into the gang, using that person, and then disposing of that person. Eventually, it's a pyramid. Everyone gets disposed of eventually. We all know, you reach the top of a crime family, what are your chances of surviving a long time? Well, 50-50 every day, right? Any day that they can be shot because they have enemies wanting to kill them. I mean, they have millions of dollars behind billions sometimes, their operations. Organized crime is wealthy. I wish they would do some good with it. I mean, if I was an organized criminal with billions of dollars, I'd be funding movements that are good for society. I wouldn't be killing people. Anyhow, so the guy yesterday who got shot, he was a stuntman, and I realized, that is a job that takes low fear. That's all it takes. Low fear. You don't have to be tough. You don't have to be big. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to be strong. You just have to be fearless. And I thought about the other careers these guys come out of, because usually people in organized crime, they have a job. You know, you don't commit organized crime 24/7 most of the time, and they need a cover. They need a cover for their families. They need a cover for their parole officers, and for the world. That's what makes them a psychopath. I think they're one way because they have a regular job, and they do seem pretty normal. Except for the fact that if you paid attention, you realize they had no fear. And I guess that's what this video is all about. I'm on the track today, thinking, it's true. I have a friend, my best friend, childhood friend. He was crazy. I mean, he's the one who took me from a very quiet, potentially cluster C personality, to tell you the truth. And I was a young boy, and I was in kindergarten in grade 1. I didn't speak to anyone. I was scared. I was asocial, not antisocial. I was hiding underneath the tables. When we'd have playtime, I'd make a little fort and I'd hide in there and look out. And I guess I haven't changed much, because I still like sitting in a coffee shop and looking at all the girls. But I think at that age I wasn't looking at all the girls. I was just terrified. Didn't know how to interact with other people because I was not socialized. Maybe I told you guys this. The first time in kindergarten, the first day I went to school in my life, my parents did not prepare me. One day I wake up and they say, "You're going to school today. It's your first day." I didn't even know what school was. Okay, that's how neglected I was. So they dragged me to this place, and this girl, Naomi, she tries to talk to me, and I don't respond to her. I'm doing this little puzzle, and she walks over and she starts telling me, maybe you should put this piece there. Oh, let me try. Let me help you. And she's doing it, but I'm not talking to her. I'm frozen, paranoid. I don't know what to do. I don't think I ever spoke to anyone to that point. I don't even think I spoke to my brother very much up to that age, because my father was molesting him. He was never around. My brother was never around me. I look back in my life and I realize up until age 21, when I met him outside, coincidentally, it was because a mafioso got shot and his dead body was lying in a car. So I was looking. I'd never seen that before. And lo and behold, there's my brother in the crowd also looking. And we lived just 2 blocks away. And my parents had managed to triangulate us so much that I was not even aware of this. I was not aware that my brother, my only brother, only 2 years difference, lived 3 blocks away. And the minute we hooked up, I'm not sure who asked who. I think he asked me where to get weed. And up to that point, we had never even smoked a joint together. We had just been basically strangers. It was a little bit like my family. My brother was pretending to be straight. He didn't smoke. He was kosher, I think. He was not doing drugs. That's what he pretended to me, his younger brother, until I met him outside, and when we hooked up and we started to be cool friends, and that was it. From there, we became best of friends. Okay, what I was trying to say was, where was I? So I forgot where I was talking about. I'm sorry, but I'll get back on the track of the psychopaths there. So this guy is a stuntman, and then I said, "Where else do these guys come from?" And I said, "Okay, there's a lot of boxers. You got to be pretty fearless to be a boxer." And again, you don't really have to be tough. I said, well, you have to be tough. You don't have to be big, right? A lot of these guys in organized crime, they're boxers, and they're like welterweights or lightweights. So it's more of a lack of fear, I would say. I knew a boxer growing up, and he was not a psychopath. He was the nicest guy in the world. He just knew the art. He was just fearless, I would guess. I know he quit, actually. See, he's not a psychopath because when he turned 18 or something, he quit. Because he said, everyone else is crazy. I can't go in the ring anymore because these guys will kill me. Because they're not in it for the sport. They just want to win. Interesting. So there's boxers. There's this stuntman. There's a lot of bouncers. And there's race car drivers. And there's cops. And there's military. It really is a hodgepodge of psychopathic careers. And then I thought about my friends growing up. Oh yeah, my best friend growing up, that's where I was. So he was a crazy guy. He brought me out of that quiet kindergarten kid into a big time troublemaker. And the way he did that was he saw me collecting these good points. You know, like you do something good for the teacher and they should give you a star. So I got called up and I got 5 stars and I was all proud. I was a little geek, I guess. And my friend, this guy, Alan, he sneaks up behind me and grabs my 5 stars and rips them. And I'm angry. So I attack him anyways. We start fighting. I grab his jacket, his leather jacket. I hide it in the garbage. And then we end up making friends. I give him back his jacket. I realize at that point, who cares about the stupid 5 stars? I'm having fun for the first time in my life. And from that point on, I didn't care about anything except having fun. And me and Alan, we had a lot of fun. We ended up getting stayed friends from, that age. I think it was grade 4, past grade 13, where we got arrested for hacking. We got into computers. We were troublemakers, but see, back then there was no computers to play with. There was no games really. There was little games, but it was mostly about being a hacker. I was a programmer, but there was no industry to program for. So you basically programmed to be, mischievous. And him and I got arrested a lot of times for mischievous stuff. One thing that he did, we were walking past a bunch of, it's another motorcycle gang thing. We passed by a bunch of motorcycles. And, pretty dangerous. You can just tell there's like 15 motorcycles. They're all like, scary bikes. And we're only 12 years old, and he pushes them over. One after the other, like dominoes. And we ran like crazy. And we got chased by them, and they didn't catch us. They may have caught my friend. They didn't catch me. What I did was I was running through because we're small. I remember we were running through the woods, like not the woods, the backyards. And then what I did was I was losing my breath, and I just couldn't run anymore. So what I did was I just ran through a bush, and then I just deked to the right, and I just fell to the ground in exhaustion. And the guy didn't see me, and he kept running forward, thinking I was forward, and I got away. Thank God. Thank God. I don't know if they would have beaten the hell out of us. We were too young and small, but I was scared. Anyways, we did a lot of that stuff where I was running away. Today, he ended up, see, this is where we split off. Around age 15 or 16, I just became a normal kid. I stayed in the neighborhood. I liked being basically in my house programming, just like he did. He had a traumatic incident. He went on a talent show at high school, and he tried to sing, and it was really bad. He was ashamed. Something happened to him at that point. He started to drink, and eventually he went to the Israeli army. And the next time I saw him, I couldn't believe the stories he was telling me. Jumping out of airplanes, killing people. I mean, he was flying in jets. Stuff that I just never would have done. He told me to come down, that I can do it all. I said, no way, man. It's just not me. I have I don't know if it's a fear, but it's definitely a self-preservation instinct that he does not have. And then I was thinking, last night, well, who else? My friend Brett. My friend Brett had psychopathic tendencies. He used to jump into the subway system when we were stoned. He'd hear the train coming, and he'd jump in to prove. Well, I don't know what he did it for. He did it, I guess, for the excitement. And then as the subway was coming, we'd be screaming, get the hell out of there. He would jump out at the last second. He would do crazy things. Like, it would be a minus 30 degrees, and he would take off his clothes and go, guys, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. This guy's crazy. But he's not crazy. He's just, I think he had a real, I don't know. Anyways, he became a cop. He went into the military also. It's very surprising that any of my friends would have gone into the military or police. I mean, growing up with them, I saw them as, see, they were troublemakers. The irony is, the two dudes I knew who caused the most trouble with me, we'll say, ended up being police. I can kind of see it today. I can kind of see it today. I wish I would have become a policeman. Would have been like, exciting. I would have ended up going into investigations, I hope, and I would have been doing what I'm doing now, but for the good of society rather than just for my own and for the YouTube. Uh, so the reason why I didn't upload the video yesterday is I was wanting to research why the guy got shot, and it was exactly you know like I just said, he was getting sentenced that same day. He was going into court, and they would have had given him maybe 5 years. And my instinct is, at that point, somebody wanted him gone, because once he's inside, he starts talking, and word gets out about stuff, even if it's just contacts. So his friends kill him. His own gang kills him. His own associates. Now it's not sure yet. They haven't said. So I post this video and I upload it, and I'm about to press publish, and then I find out somebody was shot in revenge already. So 2 people yesterday were shot, and this is the way these psychopaths work. I mean, they kill each other. That's why I was so scared when I found out what my ex-girlfriend was all about. She knows these people very well. Now, luckily, she's a woman, and I believe I like to believe that women are smarter. They have better self-preservation techniques, and she wouldn't take risks like these, dumb guys. Even I would take risks that I can't see any woman taking generally, unless they were in a seriously deviant mood. But just guys are just much more hyperactive and aggressive 24/7, really. I mean, if a war broke out right now outside my window, I'd grab a goddamn pitchfork and I'd go, yeah, let's do it, man. So the psychopathic circles, it is just incredible how much these guys, they have no fear. Oh yeah. So this is why I came to it. Again, it was the no fear. I realized, okay, my friends, man, they weren't bad guys. They weren't evil. They just had no fear. It would come out as an expression of deviance, because they would do things either for fun, or like my friend who ended up becoming the cop, not my best friend, but the one who, whatever, the second one. I didn't talk about him very much, but the one who would jump into the subway systems. He'd see fights, and he's not a big guy, and he never knew how to fight before, I guess, he went into the military. He'd be just a little 16-year-old punk like any of us, and he'd get into the middle of the fights and go, come on, guys, break it up, and often he'd get pummeled, but he'd do it every time. I heard once he got thrown down the stairs in a strip club for trying to. I mean, the bouncer was trying to throw someone out, and he got involved in saying, hey, leave the guy alone, and the bouncer just threw him down. But today, I met him, and I think he's pretty much, you would describe him as malevolent. He'd been burnt by a woman, and I said, dude, we should get together and have a beer. I hadn't seen him at 20. He goes, I don't have one beer. He goes, if I have one beer, I have 100 beers. He goes, he was miserable. He was angry. And I don't like the fact that guy who was so crazy is angry at a policeman. It's kind of scary. So then I look at the second guy who was shot yesterday, and so then I decided I'm not going to upload the video. Let me figure out the whole story and see if there's anything else to add to this. And certainly there was. It was just incredible, because I was already thinking about how no fear even described my ex-girlfriend and my father. I was like, I can think about them like my mother would always call my father dumb, and I thought of him as kind of dumb. But when I think about it now, I'm like, wait a second. It's not so much that he was dumb. It's just that he had no fear. So he'd do things without planning, preparing properly. So we would say, what an idiot. But I guess if he doesn't fear getting shamed, if he doesn't fear getting arrested, if he doesn't fear losing his business, if he doesn't fear anything, it kind of looks like stupidity. And the same thing with my ex-girlfriend. Like, the only thing I can see she feared, because I was thinking last night, I never saw any fear in my father. Nothing. I mean, no neurosis. He really is the psychopath with, like, nothing. um, in terms of that deep emotion. It's very, it's very on the surface. My ex-girlfriend also, really no fear. I mean, she was a little chick, but you know, she's a real mafia bitch. I don't think any other woman in their right mind would mess with her, um, unless they were also psychopathic and twice the size. Because she, but I saw her get scared a lot when it was reflex. She had a reflex fear, which is what my father didn't have that, and I don't have a reflex fear. If a bomb went off next to me, the noise would upset me if it kept going. But the first one, I'd be like, oh, for some reason I don't have that. Um, so I'm getting so off track here. I'm so sorry, people. I know it's rambling. So I do research on the second guy who got shot, and it's a big one. It's one of the leaders. He was bound to get shot. He had four, and this is the whole reason for this video. 20 minutes. This guy, obviously involved in the first murder, in some way. That's the way it happens. One gets shot. Either they had to get rid of both of them at the same time. See, another way it might happen. I won't go into why I think it happened exactly because it's not my business. But what will often happen, there's an expression that I read that on these forums, and one guy said, "Three can keep a secret if two are dead." So what might have happened yesterday is that's it. There was three guys. They're doing a deal. One's going into prison. Only one's left. The third guy might think, "My God, get these guys out of here. It's all mine." Either I don't have to owe them money, or I get to steal all the drugs, or whatever it is. It's a psychopathic motivation all the time of just obtaining something, right? So I did research on this guy, and what came out was quite funny. Under the topic of no fear, someone actually said, they said this guy was crazy. He already had 4 attempts on his life. And when he was shot, he was actually out in traffic in front of his construction site, controlling the traffic. He was not hiding at all, even with 4 attempts on his life. So, 5th time they got him. He was standing right in the middle of the street. And again, it just makes me think once again, maybe that's really at the core of it. No fear. That's why we can always say that they do have emotions when they do research on psychopaths. They do have these emotions. They just don't express them very often or very well. And, thinking, why would you have shame? Because it's not really, they do have shame, right? They do have shame. That's why they don't want to be uncovered. But they don't seem to have the fear of the shame. Anyways, it's a rambling video here, but, 2 guys got shot yesterday, and it all came back that every guy I know who was psychopathic, I could pretty much say they weren't nearly as stupid as they were brave. And when I read the guy yesterday, the first one was a stuntman. I'm like, wow, it seems like every one of those organized crime figures come from careers that you've got to be really, really, really have huge, zero fear. I won't even say big balls, because being brave is different than having zero fear. Even construction workers, that's another common career. These guys are working up, 25 stories up in the middle of the winter. They could fall. A lot of people die on construction sites. Anyways, that's about all I'm going to say, guys.